またスタッフいません。笑いを返してくれる人もいないという。
Ah, don't worry, Mr. S. I'll offer them for you. What the heck is up, YouTube? As we all know, Mr. Sakurai presented Pyra and Mythra today. We got a closer look on their moveset, so why don't we discuss it and analyse whether they might be a new S-tier contender. As we already knew, the new stage was on the back of Gramps. If you're not a fan of Xenoblade, then this probably looks pretty boring to you, but there are a lot of cool references in the background, like some of the titans, and overall the background clouds and the sea looks really cool. The overall stage is not too impressive, but there are some cool gimmicks. The most notable one is that Gramps' head actually moves, and like Mr. Sakurai said, this could actually determine whether you make it back onto the stage when you're launched or not. So that's a pretty neat detail. There are also other moving parts on the stage, but I don't think they influence anything. We also got to see the Battlefield and Omega form of it. And yes, seeing Gramps being squashed into a box would be pretty horrific. It's a good thing that they changed it to be sort of a flying engine thing. They both look pretty cool, and there are also characters from Xenoblade 2 in the background to cheer you on, so that's cool. As Mr. Sakurai says, Rex was not included in the character, which is pretty sad, but his inclusions, that being in the final smashes and the taunts, is pretty funny. Seeing him just cheering them on from the sidelines, it generally just looks pretty funny. As expected, we also got alternate colours. They're all pretty good, I can't complain about any of them really. If I had to choose my favourite, I'd probably say it'd either be the base colours or the popping colours, if you will, as Mr. Sakurai describes it. Colour switched versions are also pretty good. I think the original colours suit Pyra and Mythra better, but I don't know man, blonde Pyra hits different. But now let's get on to the meat of the presentation, which of course is the moveset. As we already know, Pyra is the stronger hitter, while Mythra is the faster one. And as we can see from here, there is very clearly a difference. While Pyra is pretty slow to average speed, Mythra is crazy fast. Even her jump is really high, comparable to even Falco's. I really like the dolphin tuck flip thing they do when they jump. As Mr. Sakurai continues to explain, we see that Pyra is all about being strong and fiery. In the original trailer, it said that she could power up her smash attacks with fire. At first I thought this might be an in-game mechanic, but I guess it was just talking about how strong her forward smash is. And yeah, it is pretty strong. It might be a bit slow, but I'd say it's Roy's neutral V but better really. I mean, it has better range, better speed, and probably will do more damage. As we can see, it KO'd all three characters here. Mythra's gimmick is Foresight, which is basically a spot dodge and roll, which is pretty cool since 1, it's a new mechanic, and 2, you can get some cheeky gimps and, you know, troll your opponent by dodging their attack and just instantly countering back. Which leads us to another point. Mythra looks like she's got insane combos. I mean, her speed and range really just make her a combo beast, but we'll get onto that. Now the basic attacks are pretty standard. They're copies of each other with stat differences. As we all know, Mythra is much faster, whereas Pyra has more damage but is slower. From here it looks like you're mostly going to be playing Mythra because, well, you need to rack up that damage with her fast moves. Their neutral flurry looks pretty cool just from a visual standpoint. The dash attack is really where you can see the difference in power, since Pyra manages to straight up KO Shulk from the ledge. Mythra's side tilt looks like it's going to get spammed quite a bit. And down tilt looks like a brilliant move. It basically just combos into everything, and yeah, it's going to be used a lot. Pyra's forward smash on charge can actually kill at 60%, which, yeah, that's a good move. And it can kill at 20% when charged, so you know, that is good. Up smash looks pretty good for both characters, though when you have forward smash and down smash, I don't think it'll be used as much. Down smash is pretty standard. They both are pretty fast, even Pyra, and I like the animations for both of them. They just look pretty cute. And yeah, the difference is pretty staggering. Mythra is just really fast. That's all you have to take away from it. Down air is pretty good as well. Pyra is the only one that can spike, which is, I think, it balances out. They look like they'll be good at edge guarding, both of them really, because, you know, Pyra can deliver the final killing blow, whereas Mythra can combo them up a bit. Grab's pretty standard, though I think the sort of lurch forward before they grab is pretty useful. The throws are pretty standard. As we can see, down throw is going to be very useful, not just for up B, but probably other attacks as well, maybe up air, that kind of stuff. Now onto specials, and these are probably the most interesting thing about these characters. Flame Nova was a move that particularly caught my eye in the original reveal trailer, and I just really like it, to be honest. Aesthetically it looks cool, it does good damage, and it's sort of a strange move because it's too slow to be a get off me tool, and not really that effective as a kill option. But I'd say it's more of a spacing tool really, you know, when a character's trying to get too close to you, you can explode them off. And you can also move to side, so you can fire Beyblade spin, which is pretty cool. Later we can see that Flame Nova actually does 39, almost 40% damage when fully charged, which is actually insane. Mythra's neutral B is less interesting, but it's pretty decent overall still. It's a similar sort of thing, but it only hits forward, and I think it probably has more range as well. The most interesting thing about Lightning Buster is that she's actually invincible during doing it. That could be potentially broken. Next is Blazing End, which is like a projectile, but it's not doesn't particularly go far or anything. It's sort of a weird move. It could be good, but I'm not really sure. First of all, once she throws it, she is left unarmed, so she can't really do anything but run away. So, to be honest, this is more of a get off me tool, get away really. You know, when you have maybe a character charging towards you, you throw this out and you run away, and that's how you get away from them. As we see, even if the blade doesn't reach the opponent, it does actually sort of extend its range at the end before it flies back to Pyra, so that can be useful. Also good for edge guarding and ledge guarding and stuff. When you're on stage, that is. When you're coming off, you probably might want to use a different move, since if she doesn't have her blade, she can't actually do her up B, so she can't recover back to stage. It looks like it has pretty decent damage though. Pyra's side B is sort of like Sephiroth's up B, Octo Slash. This was a move that we all saw, and I personally thought it'd be pretty broken, but now that I look at it in the actual presentation, it doesn't look too good, to be honest. It's mainly just the end lag. As we can see later on, if you shield, you can defend from it, and once you've passed through, you're left really open, which means you're probably just gonna die if you're near to the ledge. It's also interrupted by projectiles, which isn't really good. However, the fact that it stops on the edge is good, because you can probably, when people are trying to recover to the ledge, you can probably catch them out, though you can't get too close. Pyra's up B is similar to Ike's, in that, you know, it goes up and then straight down, so you know you can't use it off stage really unless you're near to the ledge. Now it's probably going to be good out of shield, because as Mrs. Sakurai specifies, it's really fast on startup. It's probably going to be a bit slower at the end though. The final hit is really powerful though. You can also move forward and back, which is good for not fluffing up when you do it off stage. Mythra's up B is by far safer, since she does a slash up and then shoots out a projectile. This is a pretty good up B, both as a recovery option and an attack. Since these are projectiles, they can be reflected, so it'll be pretty funny to see her using them at high percentages and then just getting reflected and getting KO'd at the top of the stage. It looks like it will be good for edge guarding too. And as we know, down B is swap. Though maybe shield swapping would have been a bit better, as you could save a special slot. It still makes sense, and you can swap on the fly, so you can probably do some more combos while switching between Pyra and Mythra, more versatility and mix-ups. What's really cool is that they actually have invincibility frames, and as we see, they can actually dodge projectiles by switching. This leads to a pretty cool game plan. For example, if you're Pyra and you get shot at by, for example, Samus, and you have good spacing, you can switch to Mythra to dodge the projectile, and then go straight into side B to get damage. And that's literally just 2 moves. I don't know how much damage exactly side B does, but it's pretty good. Pyra and Mythra have two different final smashes. We get a cameo from Rex, which is nice, I guess, but visually it's not that good. However, the positive is the fact that 1, the range of it is very good, and 2, it can actually hit opponents once it's been triggered, which means if you miss, you still hit them. It's explained that Pyra's is for KOs and Mythra is for damage, but later we see that Kirby using Neutral B is actually stronger than both of their final smashes, which is really crazy to be honest.
私はどちらかというとホムラの方が好きかなあ、ファイターの話ですよ。やっぱりホムラかないや、ファイターの話ですからね。
Sakurai, you sly bastard. Well, there you go, PogChamps. It's canonical to the Smash universe that Pyra is the better girl. Thank you. You may be seated. So the final question we're left with is, will Pyra and Mythra be broken? Well, yes and no. Personally, from their moveset, even though we haven't played them ourselves yet, they look pretty good. Mythra's probably going to be your go-to character. You're going to be playing with her for about 80% of the match and then maybe come in with Pyra at the end for a KO or so. Mythra looks like she's going to have a lot of good combos, and of course Pyra is very strong, which makes an overall pretty good character, but I don't think they're top tier yet. However, what debunks this theory is our other characters in the fighter pass. Remember when we all thought Minwin was going to be broken, and then she turned out she wasn't, she was just annoying? And remember when we thought Steve was going to be broken, but it turns out he was just annoying? And remember when we thought Sephiroth was going to be broken, and he turns out he's just really good? Yeah. So, seeing a character that looks good, but not particularly broken, might sort of be reverse psychology. Maybe not intentional, but it might go that way. Either way, I'm excited for these two. They look like good fighters. We have 2 spots left. I guess we just have to wait for who will come next. Goodbye to you too, Mr. Sakurai, and goodbye to all of you. Thank you for watching, remember to subscribe, and yeah, okay, bye.